Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about the liberating April Ascension energies here in 2019. March was a month of awareness of a whole bunch of stuff that maybe wasn't super pleasant and fun and exciting to become aware of. Ways in which we sabotage ourselves, ways in which we constrict our full potential and our full light, the ways we beat ourselves up, all of those emotions, all of those manifestations that come from those emotions were put on display in March. And it was a heavy energy, and you might have felt stuck. I felt stuck. I felt like I became aware of all this stuff I was doing, all these patterns, all this conditioning, but I didn't seem to have the willpower to stop doing it, which was only more frustrating because I was aware. I was watching myself act out patterns that no longer served and felt paralyzed and incapable of breaking those ties. Well, my friends, April is here, and it's a brand new, fresh energy where you're going to find a lot of those patterns falling away easily. You're going to break free from the chains you became aware of last month. And then you can look forward to your life mirroring this new liberated version of yourself at a nice, clean, conscious, high frequency. You'll find yourself a lot less occupied with all of the problems and more so excited about the newness that's coming out of the now exposed higher levels of yourself. It's an amazing month, and I'm so stoked about it, and I'm very excited to share this update with you. Now I will go ahead and take you into the video where I will share with you 5 things to clarify this energy for you. Number 1, waking up enough to choose the light. What I mean by that, it's almost as if we're reaching a threshold of consciousness and getting expanded enough to finally have enough of a reason and motivation to choose the light. And what I mean by the light is to choose yourself, your authenticity, your truth, opposed to the ego and the patterns and just the general restless antics of the ego nature that tends to have quite a hold on us at this point. You might be experiencing a heightened awareness of just how your ego is wreaking total havoc in almost all areas of your life. And even more so, you might even feel more sensitive to the emotional states perpetuated by our egoic definitions and thoughts and patterns. So not only might you be aware of how you're sort of tripping yourself up, but you might feel more intensely unpleasant about that. And as an additional kicker, you're going to be watching yourself do that, where it's like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep acting out these patterns that are manifesting in many ways, maybe even physically for you? But there's a tipping point. You can only take so much. It's just like if you're getting bullied at school or something, and eventually, you know what? The kid gets sick of it. You catch this kid who's getting picked on the wrong day, and finally he snaps and he beats up the bully or something. You're going to look at it like that without so much aggression towards your ego. Where you're going to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm done. I'm aware enough to see that there's nothing about these patterns that serve me. And once you hit that threshold, which you will this month, they start to fall away. It's easy. It's just about having enough motivation to make that choice, to choose light, to choose ourselves, to choose to let go of what's no longer serving us. And I'm going to real quickly go over an example of how this played out for me very recently. So last week for me was incredibly rough. I was driving myself bonkers with my attempt to control everything. I was acting out old patterns, but unable to stop myself. And I had so much negative energy and negative emotions in my body that I didn't know how to release, that it was actually manifesting for me physically, which the awakening sometimes can do. That's the awakening symptom. So I had this awful rash. I hurt my back in the gym, causing me to not be able to sleep very well. My allergies were horrible. You might even notice my eyes are puffy. I was clogged up. Just miserable. My moment-to-moment existence was physically miserable. I was all screwed up in the head, emotions out of control, and then things as a result, as you can expect, not going well in my life. But all of it was just me. It was me choosing the patterns. But finally, just yesterday, I had enough. And I said, you know what? I asked myself, I said, why are you doing this, Victor? Why are you creating this? Then I started jump roping at the gym and had just a series of downloads and epiphanies and revelations and insights and releases, because once you hit that threshold, it all just melts away. And what's left is the true light, the true you. But sometimes, if you're stubborn like me, I needed to be successfully and sufficiently compelled to choose the light. I had to know for 100%, it's a fact, that these patterns are ready to be let go of. There's nothing left for me here. Okay, so this month is about you deciding to choose the light due to your threshold of consciousness and awareness that's dawning and blossoming within yourself. And if you find yourself having a rough week, just know you're in the process of letting go of all of that. What's coming up, what's playing out is on its way out. Number 2, stepping into your power like never before. That's going to be the key to your release, to your transcendence of all those patterns you're now aware of. You don't have to seek outside of yourself for solutions, even though it can seem like a natural thing to do. You literally, pretty accessibly, already in this moment, possess the insights, the healings, anything you need is inside of you. And I'll give an example. So I was kind of desperate last week. As I said, I was having a rough week. I eventually booked this QHHT session because I felt like I had all this stuff coming up and I didn't know what to do with. And I went to the session, and it was a really good session. I didn't really go very deep into the past lives, but the whole time I knew exactly what the message was. It was that I already have the answers. There's this portion of a QHHT session where the practitioner basically dialogues with your higher self. And when I was doing this, I realized that it was just me, that I'm oftentimes connected to my higher self. When I shoot these videos, it's my higher self. A lot of times I'm connected to my higher self, and so are you. But we just really didn't get the memo that, hey, guess what? You're no longer this splintered ego personality that needs to connect with all this outside stuff. You are already in your power. Just wake up to that fact. And this QHHT experience helped me wake up to that fact. And then it sort of, that awareness manifested for me yesterday when I had my breakthrough at the gym. I finally said, you know what, Victor? What's the deal? Not what's the deal tarot cards, what's the deal QHHT practitioner Victor, why are you creating this stress in your life? What is it about it that you're clinging to? And once I finally deferred to myself, I started jump roping. And I started to use what I call my Pandora connection technique, where I just listen to Pandora radio, which is random songs coming on, and I sort of use the randomness of it as a way of getting messages from my higher self. Each song will tell a bit of a story, and I'll have my own intuitive perceptions of what the songs represent. 4 or 5 or 6 songs in, I was glowing, I was floating. I was like, oh my goodness, I had the answers all week. I could have spared myself. I had to come into my power though. And therefore, I'm grateful for my ridiculously intense and miserable week. Because if I didn't have that, I might not have ever woken up as much as I am now to the fact that I already am in my power. I already am connected to my inner being and higher self, and so are you. But if you find yourself having a week like I did, remember, you're going to be the one to solve this. And it's a much more rewarding and empowering experience when it goes down that way. That's the main theme right now, is empowerment, that you have the power within. We've just been taught and conditioned to believe that we don't. But we're waking up to that illusion. But there comes a time where it's a matter of not only waking up to that illusion, but stepping into that role, stepping into our power. Number 3, even though you possess all the wherewithal within yourself and always have, you'll still get help. Because you're this big, loving, eternal soul with a lot of connections. You have like connections to people in high places, souls in high places, divine guidance in high places. And it's going to be there because the whole needs you in your power, and it's going to come to your aid. And this can play out in a myriad of different ways. And I'll share with you 2 ways that it happened for me recently. So the other night, I had a dream. And I know a lot of people preface the story with, I had a dream, and a lot of the audience will get bored. This is going to be a very quick dream. It's going to be very relevant to you, I promise you, okay? So in my dream, I was rocking out to one of my favorite bands of all time, Guns N' Roses. And they were touring with Pearl Jam, another big band of mine. And Pearl Jam came on, and the lead singer, Eddie Vedder, he was singing, and he kind of messed up a little bit, at least in his own mind. And he got real frustrated, and he kind of threw the microphone down and went in the back room. Now, the whole crowd was like concerned, like, man, we were enjoying the show. Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, what happened? Why are you being so hard on yourself? So somehow, again, it was a dream, I walked backstage and I saw Eddie Vedder, the lead singer, the one who chose to walk off out of being frustrated with himself. And he had this look in his eyes that was so striking to me, because it's the same look I get. I was watching Eddie Vedder with this state of being that I oftentimes embody, where I beat myself up. I compare myself to other people. I'm like the Pearl Jam, and I'm comparing myself to the Guns N' Roses, completely oblivious to the fact that, you know what, I have value. I have self-worth. People enjoy what I have to say. I don't need to go into these funky states. But anyway, the point is, that was so clear and so obvious to me. And it just sort of was bestowed upon me randomly in a dream state, because now is the time of awakening. Now is the time where the whole wants you in your role, and it's going to help you out. And it might not be a dream. It might be a close friend of yours telling you exactly what you need to hear. Maybe you've experienced this, but sometimes your higher self can speak through other people. And the other person might not even know it, but the message will resonate with you. So don't overlook the fact that you have connections. And even though what I said about being in your power is important, at the same time, parallel to this, paradoxically, you're not and never alone. Number 4, beyond this catharsis, beyond all this processing, is going to be you finally, and more fully than ever before, merging, becoming in harmony, becoming an embodiment of your higher self. Higher self is just a euphemism I use. I'm not attached to the word. It just means, it implies your spirit. Where it's like we're a spirit having a temporary human experience, right? But we're living in the time of awakening, where the human experience is going to wake up to the fact that it is a spirit. We don't have to die to remember. We're remembering, we're waking up now. And in doing so, we realize that we are spirit. We are our higher selves. Now, for me, what helped me was realizing that it was futile to seek out, to seek outside of myself. The QHHT session really woke me up to that fact. You might find this discovery in your own way. But what I mean exactly is that you're not going to merge with your higher self. You're going to wake up to the fact that you are your higher self, that you are and always have been connected to spirit. And now it's time to really know that. And when you can really know that and use the conditioning in your life, or the challenges in your life to wake you up. Then you can not only break free of all this stuff I've been talking about, all these patterns, all these manifestations of those patterns, all these cycles. You can not only liberate yourself from them, but you can then, from that point forward, go through life knowing who you are. Remembering your power. Remembering the gifts you came to share with the world at this time. Number 5, I wrote down your big thing revealed. Your life purpose. When you remember who you are, you just know a lot of stuff. For example, your mission. So on the other end of this transformation, it's not that we're done. We're not going to take a vacation. In fact, it's going to be the opposite. We're going to get to work. But we're going to get to work on our labor of love. So around this time, as you're going through these shifts, you might find yourself becoming more obviously aware of what you came to do here. You'll know this because when you think about it, when you see something out there representing it, or someone mentions it, you'll feel a certain way in your body. It'll resonate. You'll have a knowing that, there's a pretty big connection there. And this month, it might not be so subtle. You might find yourself having it almost seem like the world is telling you what to do, and now is the time to do it. An example for me is, and I've talked about it a lot, is writing a book. I've known from the time I was like a young kid that I was going to be an author in some way. I've had many people say, you're a good writer, you should write a book. And I don't know, it's always been just like a someday thing. But lately I've been attracting to myself synchronistic people and events that have really been like pushing me to do it. In fact, the other day I happened to run into an actual author at the end of an ayahuasca ceremony. And this author, just in his normal conversation, it was almost like my higher self speaking through him, just happened to say all the perfect things that were like an antidote to my blocks I had, where I was like, oh, this block doesn't really hold any weight. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess there's nothing left to do but write that book. And then I'm seeing like ads on Instagram of this. There's this one book I just bought that teaches you how to write a book, and all these resources are coming into my life. My life is arranging itself and sort of neatening itself up and organizing itself. That was the theme last month, to really support this now very relevant mission of mine. And I share that with you because that's probably going on with you as well. All these updates are, if you haven't noticed, they're just my own stories put into this type of format. So what is it that you came to do here? What do you really want to do? What really resonates with you? It'll probably pertain to some type of creative outlet or expression. You might find yourself feeling more compelled than ever before to get to work on it. But when you get to work on it, you'll realize that, all those blocks that were there before are gone. I am now my higher self. I am now in my power. And not only will this be fun, but it'll be easy. It'll be awesome. It'll be exciting. And I'll have confidence. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that update. That is my general consensus for the April energies. I feel very good about this month, if you haven't noticed. Before I go, let me just say to you, if you're brand new to my YouTube channel, a lot of people find me from these energy updates. Let me just say to you, welcome. I have a free MP3 meditation that'll be very relevant for you, especially this month. It's a higher self connection guided meditation that I made myself. It's totally free. You can check it out down below, and I'm going to kind of spoil it for you, okay? The whole theme of the MP3 is to kind of guide you to connect with your higher self, but the experience will make you realize that you already are and have always been connected to your higher self. That's the effect. That's my intention behind this particular free MP3. Again, if it sounds good to you, you can check it out down below. Also, even though I only make 1 or 2 YouTube videos per week, I'm posting every single day on Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me and you like my vibe, go ahead and follow me down on Instagram. There's a link down below. and I'm posting videos, I'm posting quotes, I'm posting snippets into my life. And I really like the vibe of Instagram lately, and I'm putting a lot more energy into it than I have in the past. So anyways, my friends, I wish you all an amazing month. I thank you so much for your work, for your effort, for your courage, for your strength. God bless you all. Have an amazing day. Namaste.